But once again, I've let you down. I've used hyperbolic language, and that hyperbolic language has brought trouble my way. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would Rick Scott.
So hopefully it's out of context. How are you gonna?
Now, once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't. Fraud.
This is, by the way, the clip of me watching the context. You know, I did look at the context. There's a video of me looking at the context. Context makes it worse.
I am promising you that I will try to use more deliberate and more careful language going forward.
So, Hassan has realized that he has crossed the line once again. This time, his Rick Scott comments have gotten him into some hot water. He even ended up making what some can describe as an apology video after he got hit with a whole one-day ban and couldn't stream. Hassan is insisting people like Asmongold are taking him out of context and only watching small clips deliberately. I guess the guy doesn't like his playbook used against him, is what I would say if that were even true. Asmongold did watch the context, so one of Hassan's main points in his apology video are totally irrelevant. And yeah, you heard that right. One of his main points in his apology was about people taking him out of context. What he doesn't realize is that people like Asmongold are actually being way more charitable to him than most. And that context Hassan was getting so worked up about doesn't exactly make him look any better. Hassan needs to drop the ego for just a second so he could realize that he doesn't need to be taken out of context by anyone to make him look bad. The guy does just fine doing that all on his own. Let's take a look for ourselves. Is Hassan being taken out of context by anyone? Or is Hassan just trying to use controversy to promote himself and ended up stepping just a little too far this time and crossed the line? Decide for yourself.
Anyway, this chat is entertaining because so many stupids. All right, let's get back to the angry protesters seen at GOP town halls.
Think that the Senate is going to make big changes to what you passed last night?
No, I don't think they will. I think they understand the necessity of letting the House lead on this. We've got a smaller margin than they do for the first time in the modern era. The Senate Republicans have a larger margin than we do in the House, and I've got a much smaller needle to thread here. And I think they recognize that. I got 165 more personalities to deal with than they do and a much more diverse caucus. So Senator Kennedy's one of my closest friends. I love his one-liners, okay? But I think what he was referring to there in that soundbite, Caitlin, is that he doesn't want to cut Medicaid benefits for anybody, and we don't either. I don't either. We're not going to do that. That's not part of this plan, and the Democrats have been lying about it, and so it's important for us to clarify that. That's what I think he was referring to. We're going to take care of those who are rightful beneficiaries of the programs. We're going to cut the fraud, waste, and abuse out of Medicaid, and that's where we're going to get part of the savings to accomplish this mission.
But are people who are covered by Medicaid now going to potentially lose Medicaid coverage as a result of this?
No, look, the White House has made a commitment. The president said over and over and over, we're not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. We've made the same commitment. Now, that said, what we are going to do is go into those programs and carve out the fraud, waste, and abuse and find efficiencies. Couple of examples. You know, there's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid just in fraud alone. No.
That fraud is not coming from individuals, it's coming from providers. They're not tackling providers. They're not actually going after like false billing. They are trying to cut recipients, okay? It is not happening at the point of recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would Rick Scott, okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him the current, what is his current office? What is he? He's the Richard Lynn Scott is an American attorney, businessman, politician, Navy veteran, serving as the senior United States Senator from Florida, a seat he has held since 2019. And also, I believe this past election cycle, he was literally the fucking head of the, what was it, like the Senate committee or something? Like the Republican fundraising initiatives. The reason why I'm saying if you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott is because, and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party, is because he, to this day, is still also known as committing the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history.
Tell people as you travel the state, you want to run Florida like a business. I want to look into a bit of what we know about your business. When you were the chairman of Columbia HCA, you once gave a deposition, this is in January 1997, in which you were being asked questions about some letters that were key to a fraud case. And you said you didn't know if you had signed those letters. And you said, quote, I sign letters all the time that I have not read. If you were the chief executive of the state of Florida, is that the practice you will employ?
You see how Hassan did that? He made the crazy statement, then gave a good pause so his audience could, capture the dog whistle. Then after that good pause, he lays on the extra context after so he can try and soften the blowback of his statement. And to see that, all you have to do is look at how he has done these type of statements in the past. Just like his statement on 9/11, or better yet, his statement on the CEO killer.
This is so insane. America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it.
We're there to partner with them. We're not there doing our own thing. We're there partnering and training
In a video
and
game.
equipping and enhancing their capabilities. So that's part of what we're doing. And the other part is just knowledge. We want to know what's happening.
Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did. In a video game.
I thought I was alone. I thought there was something wrong with my brain, People took it way further than me. You go on TikTok. I went on TikTok. I saw the news coverage. And I would look at the comments. And literally everyone in the comments was like, oh my God, can you more CEOs, please? I was like, what the What do you mean? Hello? On fucking Facebook, on your grandpappy's Kalans meet, motherfuckers are out there celebrating. It's not me. You look, you're a titan of enterprise, okay? And so am I. I'm a rich guy myself. I would never say anything like that, but it seems like other people are saying it. Not me. Can't catch me slipping. I'm not saying it, but other people certainly are saying it.
Yeah, Hassan is no stranger to saying crazy shit like this. The only difference is he normally doesn't get disciplined for it. And when people do call him out for it, he always plays the card where he says he was clipped out of context. Even when the person has actually watched said context, he will just say whatever he needs to so it looks like he's being victimized.
The clip's too short. Maybe it's out of context. I hope so. I definitely do. Hopefully it's out of context. How are you going to...
Now, once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't. Should the likes of Asmongold seek out further context? I think yes. I think when you have millions of people watching your videos, it would be nice to at least inform them of what the true context is. And now that this context exists, will Asmongold watch this video? Will he go back and say, hey, my bad? Maybe. I'll be honest. Perhaps he will do that. We shall see. If you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud,
This is, by the way, the clip of me watching the context.
you would kill Rick Scott is because,
Yeah.
and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party, is because he, to this day, is still
Yeah, this is
He
the video of me
repeats it.
watching.
also
Yep.
known as committing the largest
Yes.
Medicare fraud
Yes.
in U.S. history.
Yes.
Oh God, what are we doing? What is this, bro? Are you kidding me? So the context makes it worse.
It's disappointing to see him. I did look at the context. There's a video of me looking at the context. The context makes it worse.
Imagine making a core response of your pseudo-apology video being that Asmon never watched the full context deliberately to stir the pot. Also, he could make you look bad when there's just super easy to find proof that shows exactly the opposite. Now, will Hassan apologize that Asmongold did see the context and correct the record for everyone to see? Well, don't count on it. In fact, I'll take smear his opposition for 500.
Supposedly liberal community or at least members of a supposedly liberal community, actively partnering with Asmongold and Libs of TikTok to try to get me fucking banned. Match that up with the Libs of TikTok video to call for my banning.
It was not just Libs of TikTok. I think that this is, again, it's an optics game where you're saying it's Libs of TikTok because Libs of TikTok is kind of a moron in a lot of cases. And so it's like, well, this person is doing it. And it's about kind of creating it to be a partisan political issue rather than just simply a behavior that's bad. You know, according to Hassan, it's my fault. It's Ethan's fault. It's Destiny's fault. Libs of TikTok's fault. It's everybody's fault except for his.
See, this is what Hassan always does. When he gets into shit, he tries to smear his opposition and tie them to a person he thinks will make it easy to make that person look bad. He does this virtually all the time with Destiny. Basically, every single time he faces criticism. And now that Asmongold has been holding him accountable, he is doing it for him as well. And, well, Asmongold is calling out Twitch for their blatant double standard with their policy enforcement. Like, take a look at this. Hassan received only a 1-day ban for his comments on Rick Scott.
It's obvious that Twitch has two different forms of punishment, right? Where Twitch streamers that embody certain political values are not being punished at the same ratio that an average person would be punished.
This is what happens when you don't every single slave owner after slavery. We would have socialism at this point if someone just went out of their way and...
Is this guy banned? Did they ban him?
Nope.
Let me see if they did.
Hello?
30K to anyone who will make this disappear.
Holy guys, if you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know.
It's like you
What a fucking bitch, dude. Honestly, to be like, oh, threatening violence against an elected official. I'm sorry, I'm a goddamn American. I'm a goddamn red-blooded American. That is my right. The tree of tyranny must be watered with the blood of tyrants. However it goes. The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants every now and then, okay? Shut the fuck up.
Would you tell that joke about Donald Trump?
Again, yes, I would.
Then do it. I mean, you know, again, the simplest answer, in my opinion, is most often the correct one. The reason why people like Hassan get unbanned very quickly and they don't get punished as much as other people do. And again, like if they're acknowledging that he did this, another big issue that a lot of these people have is that they think that the reason that they get banned and the reason that they get in trouble is because of somebody else, right? It's like, it's my fault. It's Ethan's fault. The fact is that sometimes people are just victims of their own bad decision making, right?
I think Asmongold is covering this because he wants Twitch to see it. He's done this a couple times in the past couple of weeks. I understand. We are ideological.
I think that that is partially true. And I think that Hassan should look at the bigger picture and see the problem of allowing extremism on the website and how dangerous that's going to be for the website as a whole. My opinion is that if they don't tone down extremism, what will happen eventually is that there will be an extremist event. That extremist event will cause Twitch to tighten up their policies and remove content that both he and I do. And if he can't see that writing on the wall, I think that he should pay better attention.
Yeah, Asmongold is right. Twitch's policy enforcement team is clearly compromised. I mean, if that already wasn't evident by the fact that higher-ups got exposed for being Hassan's buddy, this ban just actually served no purpose but for Twitch to be able to say they actually disciplined him. And they're only doing that because of all the heat this guy has gotten under recently, and thus put Twitch under, for essentially allowing him to say virtually whatever he wants. So, in effort to try and prevent another swarm of articles about their lack of enforcement and causing more advertisers to run away, they gave him the lightest slap on the wrist, just signaling to everyone once again just what type of commentary they support. Personally, I think Hassan was trying to keep his name on people's minds, because he thinks controversy will help keep him relevant. I truly think this guy is upset because he is no longer the #1 guy in the politics category anymore. What it really looks like to me is that he was trying to get some clips going around, and then he just took it just a step too far. I mean, if you think it was an accident that he always gets into these controversial situations, then I think you need to think again. Sure, Hassan is a radical, but this is all intentional. The man knows exactly what he is doing, which is exactly why he does it so often. I think Asmongold should keep the pressure on. Hassan needs to be held accountable for his actions. The guy is literally in the process of breeding a community that agrees with essentially everything he says. And one of these days, one of these guys is gonna take what he says just a little bit too seriously. And someone is gonna get hurt. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just a Hassan hater. What do you guys think? Am I blowing this out of proportion? Or does some sort of action need to be taken? I'm kind of hesitant on saying we need to ban the guy permanently because I think people need to be able to have the freedom of speech to kind of say what they want. But it looks like this guy is fully willing to drive his community further down that very risky road. Maybe keeping him in the public is also keeping him and his community in check. All right, guys, I said my bit. I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want to see more content like this, YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video right here.